Okay, folks, I'll try not to make this too long. A couple of disclaimers at the beginning. I think I can go through all this without using any actual names, but the people who know will know what I'm talking about. Um, Now, any of my real life friends probably aren't going to understand most of this, but the YouTubers will know what I'm talking about here. So, and I'm not going to try to give background on every little thing for those who don't understand YouTube panels and all that. Just try to pick up what you can from the context. Um, and let me say from the beginning, I'll probably repeat it later. The panel I'm talking about, there's a lot of people over there I like, most of the people, most of the regulars. Um, I have nothing against them. I enjoy talking to them. Some of them, I think, if I knew them in real life, they'd be actual friends, besides just, YouTube friends. But anyway, let's just get into the whole thing. I, like most people that ended up on that panel, I found it by watching the First Amendment uh, videos by the channel owner. And I went there and for a while, I lurked in the chat. And then one day I thought, oh, I'll go up there. And it was really the first YouTube panel I ever joined. Didn't really know quite what to expect. At first, when I went there, I thought it was going to be just all, people who did 1A videos. It then turned out that, 95% of the people there are they're supporters rather than content creators, or at least not 1A content creators. But it was fun, we had a lot of good conversations, arguments, troll beatings, all that kind of stuff. Um, After a while, some weird stuff happened where people were saying they were getting banned and other people were denying they got banned. And I even, at one time, I was having a lot of trouble with my connection. And I found that if I switched from Chrome to Firefox, that my connection was steadier. So I was even telling people that were having trouble that, hey, maybe you weren't banned. Maybe just try a different browser. And they said, no, I got a thing saying I'm banned. And I said, well, are you sure? So, I was like actually, sort of sticking up for the channel, and I was believing what was being said on the channel that, oh no, if these people were banned, it was by accident. And then one day, it happened to me. And it kind of reminds you of the saying that everybody says, back the blue till it happens to you. Well, that's kind of what happened to me. And I'll tell you, it was during a very bad week for me. I had something going on in my personal life, and I really wanted to go there and just sort of hang out with, friends. I didn't know I wasn't going to talk about what was bothering me. I'm not, anybody who knows me, especially in real life, knows that I'm not usually big on talking about personal stuff, although it's certainly that place is open to it. There's some people that are constantly talking about their personal life and that. And that's cool. They get a lot of support there. Maybe they don't get it in real life, or maybe they just like talking about it all the time. Anyway, I just wanted to go there and hang out, and I figured, even if it was one of those chaotic nights, it would take me away from what I was thinking. And I'd go to log in and it says you've been banned. And I thought, huh, is that really what it said? And so I tried again. It says you've been banned. And I couldn't figure out why. And I sent out emails to other people on the panel saying, hey, guess what? I'm banned. And I know, and then I had people sort of reporting back to me as the day went on. And I'm certainly not going to mention any of those names, but, and I don't like hearsay for anything, even if it is something that I believe. I went back, because everything's recorded. I went back and looked. And I know somebody brought up my email when the channel owner was there. We all know who I'm talking about. And he said, oh, really? Muckster? Well, I don't know. I'll have to go and look. I don't know what happened. And all the people there said, okay, they just accepted it the way they accept it every time anything like that comes up. And let me just tell you at this point, one of the things about this place, there's this whole secrecy thing that goes on where he, and when I say he from now on, just figure I'm talking about the channel owner, would come in and he'd say, now there's things I can't tell you about. There's things going on that you can't know. And everybody just accepts it. And these are all things that later on occurred to me. Again, those of you who know me might know that I like to think I am not a stupid person. Sometimes I gotta let things sort of roll around in my head till it all comes together. And these things have been rolling around for a while now. But anyway, keep talking about, there's things we can't talk about. There's things we can't talk about. So anyway, coming back. So somebody brought up, and they read my email to them. And some of the half-wits there got a good laugh about it. Oh, he sent out an email. Oh, my God, it goes on forever. Yeah, they had a good time with it. And these are people who, when you're there in person, of course, it's like, hey, Muckster, how you doing? But behind your back, But, that's just like real life. There's a lot of people out there that are, very superficial and two-faced. But anyway. But that's what happened there. This person brought it up, and it was like, oh, really? And then someone else had come in. Now, I may have the chronology a little different. Maybe the email came after the second person. Anyway, it was like an hour or so later, another guy came in. A guy who's also banned there now, by the way. And the channel owner was either still there or there again. But again, I went back and looked at the recording, and he was talking to the channel owner. And he said, hey, what's the deal with Muckster? And the channel owner goes, oh, Muckster, really? I didn't know that. I'll have to go and look it up. Now, this guy who I always got along with well, although we butted heads a lot, because mostly how he gets later in the night when he's been drinking a while. He didn't let it go as quick as these other people who are supposed to be caring friends. He hammered at it after a while, a bit. But, here's the thing, the disingenuousness. The channel owner going, oh, really? When he damn well knew someone had brought it up earlier. And I've come to think back on a lot of stuff like that, and it's just sort of interesting how often when something big will happen there, he comes in shortly later and someone says, hey, did you know this? And he's like, oh, really? Tell me about it. Yeah, I think he knows about it before he ever comes in. And yeah, if you want to say, am I calling you a liar? Yeah, I am. Uh, anyway, so then somebody contacted me and said, hey, the channel owner, he said to come in to talk to him, and I did. And we had one of those famous one-on-ones that they've been doing there now, and which can be a good thing, depending on how it's used. Anyway, and he hammered at me for a while about, oh, why are you sending out emails? Like it's any of your fucking business that I sent emails to people. And then he said the reason I was banned was because I was on somebody else's panel who are not friends of this panel. And he said, and why don't you tell us all what the name of that video was you guys were watching? And I was like, what video is that? And he said, oh, you're watching that video. I guess it was something that was supposed to be like a snipe of their panel, and they were talking about it. And I said, I don't really remember the video. And he actually, and let me just say this, because of my state of mind, it wasn't just because of being banned at this place, but it was because of what was going on in my personal life for that whole week. I was not at the top of my game. And again, people in my real life, I think, will back me up that I'm not often so easily manipulated. Anyway, but he actually had me gaslighted, thinking, okay, I totally forgot this video. Because, sometimes like I've said many times, if they'd invented it while I was a kid, I'd have ADD. So sometimes my focus is on a certain thing and I'm missing other stuff. Anyway, yeah. So went on and on about this video for quite a while. And then, this was supposed to be my big crime of hanging out with people who were supposedly enemies of the channel. And then later on, he said, well, it's not those people. It's that they're associating with people who are trying to bring the channel down. So I was guilty of association of people who are guilty of association. It's kind of like being thrown in jail because your second cousin committed a murder. Anyway, after a way too long talk, and I got kind of emotional on that. And again, it's mostly because I had other stuff going on. But anyway, I got unbanned and I went back and things were pretty good. I still wasn't as comfortable, but after a while, I got into the groove. But there's another thing I should mention to you, and I don't think I did it right when I came back, but I had bought a membership in the channel. And after I bought the membership, the next time I logged in, there was a thing attached to my name that said Team Podcast, actually. And I had seen that on people before, and I thought, oh, that's how they got that, is because they bought a membership. And a good friend of mine who I brought to the channel, he at the same time got that attached to his name. He became a team member too. And people probably know who I'm talking about there. And he's also donated money to the channel a few times. So, hey, you guys, you're welcome for me introducing them to you. Anyway, after a while, I thought about it, and I thought partly I didn't really feel totally part of the team anymore, but mostly I took it off my name because I kept seeing people saying things like Muckster and this lady are running things there. And also I'd be in chat and people who understand panels, who understand what this is about, and or not in chat. I mean, I'd be on the panel and someone would say to me, "Hey, can you bring up this video or something?" And I'd say, "No, I can't do that." You have to have, there's, the panel has like mods and admins that can do that sort of thing. But people see that team at the end of your name and they think you're one of those people. And I had to keep explaining, I have no more power than anybody else. All I did was donate $5 or whatever it is so that my name comes up green in chat, which, by the way, I couldn't use chat anymore ever since being banned. For some reason, I was like permanently banned from chat. And I don't know why. I wouldn't be allowed to use the text, but they would trust me up there on the panel. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. So yeah, so I'd taken that off my name. So let's go forward a bit. And I was having a lively discussion with my favorite idiot that hangs out there. And people will know the particular former Iraqi, former Moroccan, former French, now Canadian idiot I'm talking about, who well, let's say the panel owner, the channel owner, kept saying, give him a chance, folks. Let him, if you give him time, you'll start to understand him. And I gave him time for a while. And we actually, we had some good conversations in that. And then one day he came in, he started in with the same old stuff. Right in, he just came in and he called the one lady a fat ass. And then later on, there was a discussion going on about something, and I forget what. But this idiot's response to the one guy was that he didn't know what he was talking about because he's disabled. And the guy he has back injuries that affects his mobility. And the moron was like, somehow his intellectual argument had to do with the fact that he's able to skateboard. So after that, I gave up on trying to be nice to him. And I started really going after him. And the one guy gave me kind of a clue to it. He said to him, name one thing that you have ever done. Because this guy, the moron, he's always talking about, the First Amendment and all this stuff and, how it supports. He said, name something you've ever done. So I picked up on that and I kept saying, name anything you've ever done for anybody else. And I hammered him about his family, who he abandoned back in France. And he's bragging about his son. And I kept saying to him, when's the last time you hugged your son? When's the last time you hugged your son? And he did not like that at all. And he kept saying, oh, my son's this, my son's that. And I kept saying, you've got nothing to do with that. Anyway, this was going on. I'm not sure if I might have lost my train of thought there. I might have skipped some things. But anyway, it was in that conversation he brought up to me about, and they stripped the team off of your name. And I said, they didn't take it off. I took it off myself, and I could put it back anytime I want. And so I did. And about 2 seconds later, whoever the asshole is that was behind the curtain, which is where their admins are all at, they call them Team Pod 1, Team Pod 2, down through 4. He took it back off. That was the first time that I really got mad in that conversation, even though people would think I was mad because I was yelling at the guy and calling him all kinds of names, but that was mostly for effect because I knew it was driving the moron nuts. I told him I hated him, which I really didn't and don't, because it takes me way too much energy to hate a person, and he isn't worth that kind of energy. Anyway, so I put the team thing back on my name to prove the point, and they took it off, and I felt that was total disrespect. And I did some yelling for real, telling them I paid for that on my name. and they had no right to take it away. And I'm not going to totally use the words because I never know when my young nephew might be watching one of my videos, but you can guess what I told them they could all do to themselves. And I left. And I haven't been back to the panel since. I haven't tested to see if they might have banned me again since then. I don't know. I won't say I don't care, because I do miss talking to some of those people there. The only thing I did do after that, and when I realized I said, all of you, and I meant all of you people behind the curtain. And I'm going to come back to that in a second, but I did send an email to one person on there who happened to be on the panel at the time, someone I really respect. And I said, I sent her a text, actually, not an email. I said, I hope you realize I didn't mean all of you people on the panel. I meant all of the people behind the scenes. And she was like, she was cool anyway. But anyway, but yeah, this whole thing, like I said, the people behind the curtain. And I've thought about that a lot. Now, if you remember back, I said that I went there because I watched this guy's 1A, we call First Amendment audit videos. This is a group that's supposed to be all about the First Amendment and all about open government and, revealing what's going on in the government. And these people don't even realize that they've devoted themselves, and I mean that seriously, because some of them, I do think that it's like a cult for some of these people, and they are devoted to a place that is all about secrecy. You don't know who's in charge, although I have good suspicions about a couple of them. But they, there's all this stuff about there's things we can't tell you. And we're not going to tell you the names of the admins because for some reason that would be bad. That's like the only, no, I'm not saying I've been all over YouTube, but I've been visiting different panels now, and that's the only place I know that's like that. Usually the person is right there on screen, just like me and my friend do on his channel. You know who's in charge because the person's right up there. But this place, it all has to be secret, even though they're all about open government. They don't even see the hypocrisy. So anyway, yeah, I had people ask if I'd ever go back, and I said there's only one way I would go back, and I know it would never happen, so no, I won't be back, because the only way I would go back is for that channel owner to apologize to me. And I know exactly, if someone says that I said that, I know what he's going to say because he said it before. Why am I being blamed? I'm not the one to do it. He's often came in there and he said, why are people blaming me for things? And now think about this. You own the damn channel. You picked the admins yourself. Take responsibility. Even if you're not the one who pushed the button, you're responsible for what goes on there. That's what a boss does. I don't know how many employees you have in your day job, but I hope you're different there. I hope you take responsibility for your workers there. Anyway, yeah. So I think I hit everything, and I know if I'm not already, I'm now going to be on the enemies list for this place, just like a lot of the other people. Some of them who used to be real life friends with the channel owner, because every cult needs an enemy list, because that's how they get the people together. They have to have a common enemy, somebody to be afraid of. Like I could possibly do anything to hurt that place. What do I have? 100 subscribers? But anyway, yeah. But I do want to emphasize at the end for any of those that might see this. And so far, I'm not even sure if I'm going to make this public yet. I'm doing it live, but I have it marked private. I'll think about it a little before I flip the button, but I think I'm going to. But any of you people that know me from there, as far as I'm concerned, I still like you. If I run into you on another panel, as far as I'm concerned, we're cool. If you see me doing something, or if I'm doing something with my buddy that yous know, something live, feel free to come and talk. I guess that's about it. I really don't even have any hard feelings anymore about the people behind the curtain anymore. I just feel like unless, and it won't, like I said, it won't happen, unless I would get an apology for being disrespected that way. Even if I'm not banned there now, I can't go back because I just wouldn't feel comfortable there. Yeah. So, yeah, this is longer than I wanted it to be, but I just wanted my side of it out there because I know people say things. I actually saw the video of when he first came in and said what happened, and somebody was like, oh, well, Muxter just said this and this and this, and it was exaggerated a bit. And God knows what they've said about me if anybody's brought it up since then. People maybe be behind the scenes. If, like I said, I'm probably on the enemies list now of people trying to take them down. And I'm not sure if that even really exists anymore, that there's people that are after them any more than the kind of trolls and porn bombers that go after any popular channel. But guys, that's my story. That's the way I saw it. So anybody who's interested in this, now you know. You can quit asking me about it because I don't really want to talk about it. I don't want to spend all my time talking about people there, especially because, like I said, I like most of them. I like talking to them. They're mostly good people. So, hopefully I didn't miss anything important. Well, I will say this, though, to my friends there. Maybe think about the things I've said here about the secrecy and the disingenuousness of, oh, I didn't know this happened, that kind of thing. And watch for the signs in the future, because you may be next. If you look at some of the people that have been banned, I mean, I wasn't that important there, but some of those people, they'd been around for a long time and they were encouraged. So that's the other thing I was going to mention about getting that team on your name. I since found out that some people were awarded that without paying for it, including the moron that I talked to. And I know the one guy who has been banned, the one that went in and asked about me, he said he never paid to have it on his name either. And, he personally, from what I can tell, before he got banned, didn't do anything different than he'd been doing for weeks beforehand. But it seems like they decided on a new flavor of the week for someone to come in and stir things up, and they no longer needed him. So, again, no matter how secure you feel over there, unless you're one of the people behind the curtain, watch out because you could be next. And I know that sounds paranoid, but it's just a warning to you. Watch for the signs. Watch when it happens to other people and see if you begin to see the same things I've seen or the things I've figured out since being there. Anyway, folks, way too long. Peace out. Have a good life. Muckster out.